Hi, I'm Cole. I did my project on the mass extinction and whether we are in the midst of it or not. This is a quotation I thought that captured my stance on the subject, so you can read that quickly. Alright, I will be exploring the fundamental changes in a couple different Earth systems that ultimately lead to the end Permian extinction. Then I'll look at how those same changes are being seen in today's environment. A key determinant of previous mass extinctions was the shift in the Earth's atmospheric climate, which led to severe changes in the ocean's composition and hurt its living creatures. Although oceans were severely affected, it was not limited to the oceans. Nearly 95% of ocean life and 70% of terrestrial life was extinct 250 million years ago during end Permian. Now, what caused the planet's climate to change? I will take you through some of the fundamental alterations to Earth systems that cause the climate to change and therefore exert pressure on the on the lives of living organisms. When looking at these changes in the past, I will display them side by side, the changes that us humans are imposing on the Earth today, with the goal of supporting the theory that we are in the midst of the sixth mass extinction, and we ourselves are causing it. Okay, so how do these eruptions that caused the Siberian traps trigger the end Permian mass extinction? So as lava spewed from the depths of the Earth, massive amounts of carbon dioxide and methane gas were also released into the atmosphere. These two gases are powerful greenhouse gases that warm the planet. Initially, the ash cloud from the eruption cooled the surrounding area, but over time, the spike in these greenhouse gases caused the climate to spike as well. Here on the left, we have the effects of the eruption on a handful of different Earth systems. I will not be covering all of them, but I will be focusing on the increased climate and then the effects that has on the ocean. Here on the right, the scale of the basalt covering from the eruption is shown. This illustrates the amount of weathering that was then able to take place and eventually dumped nutrients into the ocean and mess with the systems in the ocean as well. Similarly, today, carbon is being rapidly emitted into the atmosphere, but not from volcanic eruption, but rather humans burning fossil fuels. The pace at which we are burning fossil fuels and putting them into the atmosphere is what is so frightening and similar to that of an eruption that took place during the end Permian extinction. So increased carbon in the atmosphere can lead to ocean acidification. We saw it in the diagram above. This is when the carbon that's released in the atmosphere dissolves into the ocean and decreases the overall pH. Researchers have been comparing the end Permian ocean acidity to today's. It is said that changes that we have made to the ocean's acidity is altering the geochemical nature of the ocean in ways that haven't been seen since the end Permian extinction 250 to 300 million years ago. And that extinction killed 95% of all life in the ocean, so that's not promising. The ocean is also subject to anoxia. This is caused by a large amount of nutrients being dumped into the ocean, phosphorus and nitrogen to be more specific. During the end Permian, the source of these nutrients came from the increased weathering of the basalt that took place, the Siberian traps. There's another one in Asia, I forget the name of it. This weathering allows for nutrients to flow into the ocean, which consequently causes dead zones and ultimately anoxia below those dead zones. Similarly, dead zones are formed today, but rather than from weathering, nutrients are flowing to the ocean from the massive amounts of synthetic fertilizers that we are using in our agriculture. Again, very similar thing is happening. Dead zones are created, and oxygen levels below them are decreasing. All right, so now that I have drawn some fundamental and systematic connections between the end Permian the most dramatic extinction in world history and our current state of life on Earth, I would like to point out some scary and hopefully motivating research that talks about the actual extinction rates that are ultimately all caused by the interruptions of the system I just walked you through. Take the end Permian extinction, for example. The extinction was triggered by the eruptions formed by the Siberian traps, was not officially a mass extinction until 2,000 years after that eruption. Then, if we look at when the potential beginning of the Anthropocene, a likely trigger for the sixth mass extinction, began, that was the middle of the 20th century, and we are nowhere near 2,000 years, which it took the Siberian eruptions to wipe 95% of marine life and 70% of terrestrial life on the planet. So researchers are currently building models and projecting the current extinction rate of mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians over a very short period of time. Like some doing 500, that's the research that I explored. When comparing these rates to the extinction rate of the end Permian, which took place over hundreds of thousands of years, our current rate is faster than, this quote from the research, faster than or as fast as all the rates that would have produced all the big five extinctions prior to the one I think we are currently in. With this information, it seems that it would be very clear that we are in the midst of a mass extinction. But we have not yet reached the threshold for species to be lost. For species lost, that would qualify as a mass extinction. But again, this is no reason that we should hide caution, but rather it is time to work tirelessly to mitigate the footprint we are all leaving on our planet in order to slow and hopefully stop the feedbacks that we are falling deeper and deeper into that could potentially cause the demise of the majority of life, including our own. Thank you.